Hey everyone, this is Kevin, your failed journalist. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and happen to really like my videos, please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and ring that bell notification for updates on when we upload more content. And if this is your first time here, forgive my razzled hair. I just went on a walk, and a 2-mile walk. Walking's good. I like walking, especially like listening to all the updates and certain songs on the walk. And I came back and I said, you know what, I just wanted to start doing my videos because I am actually going to the movies today. And now, ironically, I'm going to be making a video about the movie theaters, which is a favorite topic on this channel. Now, there has been a lot of movie theater news going on recently, so much so that I'm actually kind of surprised I haven't been talking about it, but I kind of needed a break from the theater business for a day or two. But there's a lot that's happened. For example, Regal Cinemas are going to be reopening 11 theaters in New York State. That is not New York City. That's a positive thing, and of course it led to a lot of, movie theater chain stocks to rise. On the other hand, then you had stories like today where AT&T CEO John Stankey sees a choppy recovery for the movie theater business and conceded that Tenet was not a home run, although he said he's still glad he did it. I don't know how much I believe him on that one. And that the company might have to make some big game-changing decisions on how to deal with their content going forward. In fact, there's HBO Max right there. I suspect some movies might be going there. Not Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman, they will wait as long as they have to. So that's, not good. And when he says choppy, by the way, he's not just talking about the next couple months. He's like, I don't see a whole lot of recovery near the end of the year or early next year. He thinks it's going to take a while for the movie theater business to recover. And then, of course, you have this thing looming over everyone's head where AMC theaters might have to file for bankruptcy. And as I've said before, I fully believe this is what they will do. I also don't entirely think it's a bad thing. In fact, again, you can watch my other video, but as I pointed out, Six Flags had to file for bankruptcy because they got in a cash debt position that they could not dig themselves out of. And it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to them. The same thing might be the case with AMC because I bet you they will hold off until January to file for bankruptcy. And then they'll file. And it takes months for this thing to happen. And they will probably be able to show good business growth during the time. And most of their debts will probably be forgiven. But on that note, let's look at this article from the Motley Fool. Now, the Motley Fool, I want to be upfront about, is not 100% reliable all the time. What the Motley Fool is, for those of you who are not aware, is it's a stock news and analysts website. As a result, they publish a lot of articles about different stocks. Some of them negative, some of them positive. And usually the people who are writing the articles have a stake in what they are writing about, or they plan to have a stake in what they are writing about. Do not watch this video or take my opinions as financial advice. I own 100 shares of AMC stock, and I actually will probably buy more because it is going down, and I do expect a recovery at some point. But you know what? That's me. I also bet on MoviePass stock. That didn't work out very much. Although I also bet on Sunrun and Plug, and those definitely worked out very, very well for me considering the price I bought them for. But anyway, let's look at this article. Will AMC Entertainment be the hottest stock of 2021? I know, a lot of you are probably laughing right now, but let us not just write this off real quick. Let us see what Rick Munariz, I think it's Munariz, I'm sorry if I'm butchering your name, has to say about this. He says, like the Matrix and Godfather franchises, something that started out so well for AMC Entertainment Holdings is sputtering near the end. Shares of the leading multiplex operator are having another rough week, tumbling after filing to sell more shares in a mad scramble for liquidity. By the way, as a shareholder, I did not like that news. That's going to dilute the stock, so my holdings will definitely lose some value, unfortunately. So that's another reason you should not take this as financial advice. But let's continue. AMC also offered up preliminary financials for the recently concluded third quarter in the regulatory filing, and the exhibitor's performance is as bleak as you can probably imagine. Revenue for the third quarter tumbled 91%. AMC theaters didn't start reopening until midway through the period, but it's obviously struggling to woo moviegoers back in the new normal. And it probably will continue to struggle until there's a vaccination, or if that mouthwash thing actually works and we see like a surge of Listerine sales. So, the stock's a hot mess, down 58% this year through Wednesday's close. The industry is crumbling before our very eyes as rivals unplug their film projectors and studios push out their releases or take them directly to consumers through premium video on demand, where they don't make a lot of money. I want to always stress that. Premium video on demand was a huge failure. You don't want to be an AMC investor right now, probably, but it doesn't mean that things will always stay that way. Let's propose a very contrarian take here, suggesting that AMC Entertainment could be one of the next year's biggest winners. So, it's time for concessions. The near-term fate of the industry was seemingly sealed when Tenet was a box office dud domestically and Disney pulled Mulan and Soul from theatrical distribution. Rival Regal Cinemas closed down all of their U.S. theaters except for the one in the Spectrum, at the Irvine Spectrum, and I'm actually going to be seeing Casper there next week, after the upcoming James Bond film was bumped into next year. However, even within those events, there are glimmers of hope. Tenet has been a flop after topping just 50 million in domestic ticket sales, but it was a hit internationally with box office receipts of 334 million worldwide. In short, big releases continue to do well in overseas markets that are faring better in their fight against the coronavirus, as they should be. One of the things about this whole thing is that people keep saying, like, people will become too accustomed to watching stuff at home, and people aren't going to want to go back to the theaters. But, they question about a lot of things going back. Will people go back to sports? Will people ever enter the grocery store again when the groceries can be delivered? Will they ever want to play in a park again? Will they feel safe going back to schools? And we found that that was a yes for pretty much everything. People do want to go back to sports. They will re-enter restaurants. They will re-enter the grocery stores. They do want to go to in-person classes. Heck, a lot of college students actually pressed to return to campus rather than take classes online. I find it just a little hard to believe that all of these things are coming back, but this one thing is the one thing that people have loved doing for 100 years or more. This is the one thing they don't want to return to. No, I'm sorry. And look, I know some people are going to point out, well, 70-inch 4K TVs are going to be $400 soon. Yeah, that's cute. That 70-inch 4K TV, that's basically what that is. Yeah, it's nice. This is 68 inches, but it's not 70. But it's like, yeah, that's cute. It's not a Dolby Cinema or an IMAX, so But and as overseas have shown, where they fight this better, people are going back, and one of the big problems right now is that theaters were vilified more than any other hobby. And as a result, there are people who still don't want to go. Heck, I've been trying to convince my parents, hey, let's go to a movie, and they just don't want to, even though it's like, look, if we're going on a Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, we're probably going to be the only ones there. They won't do it. But hey, once there's a virus, my dad says he can't wait to go back to the movie. So anyway, in short, big releases continue to do well in overseas markets. Disney did decide to take its live-action Mulan reboot directly to Disney Plus users, willing to pay nearly $30 for unlimited streaming access. That was a huge failure, by the way. But it just put out a new trailer for its next animated feature, Raya and the Last Dragon, with a promise of coming to theaters in March. So much for everything going to Disney Plus. A lot of studios have pushed out their 2020 blockbusters in the next year, but that only builds the buzz for the murderer's row of content coming in 2021. Basically, you've got James Bond, then you've got the new Disney film, then you've probably got Wonder Woman because it's probably getting delayed. You got Eternals, you got Black Widow, you got Peter Rabbit in January. Wouldn't it be funny if Peter Rabbit was what really started with the theaters recovering? Because I sense a lot of people will want to see Peter Rabbit. And it's like at some point, people are going to look, they're going to go like, well, I want to see something. So that's what he's kind of getting at here. Rival Regal decided to take its 2020 martini, shaken but not stirred, but that will only give AMC a larger share of the market at a time when the pie is tiny, but the future is anything but doomed. Although it should be noted, there's not a whole lot of numbers to suggest that AMC and Cinemark have greatly improved from having Regal shut down. Like I said, I want to be fair. AMC's move to raise money this week after warning that could run out of money by the end of this year or early next year wasn't viewed favorably on Wall Street, but it does give the multiplex chain some more time. It's unlikely to close down its theaters with additional liquidity, and that may give studios that still have films in the 2020 release slate the confidence they need to see the upcoming holiday season through. Yeah, there's even like a new Kevin Costner film opening November 3rd, where Kevin Costner and I think Diane Lane are trying to save their grandson from a cult, and it's like, that seems like a very interesting movie. I can't wait to see that one. There is a lot not to like about the movie theater industry, but with some of its smaller competitors unlikely to be around a year from now, and digital distribution not a bona fide replacement for theatrical run, and when they say smaller competitors, they mean, unfortunately, mom and pop theaters. You can't write AMC off right now. When the spigot of studio content begins flowing again, and it's a matter of when and not if, AMC is going to be a bigger player. And it's going to be smarter. It has made the most of its lull by rolling out mobile concessions ordering and reserved seating to most of its location during the downtime. It has made cost cuts that will pay off in the future. Expectations are so low for AMC right now that if the chain is just still breathing a year from now, it would be enough to see the stock price higher at that point. By sticking around, AMC could see a COVID-19 vaccine next year and ride out the recession. A lot will change in the future, but as what would probably be the last multiplex operator standing, AMC didn't make it through the past 100 years by not adapting to changing trends and consumption patterns. This year's been a box office flop for AMC, but every so often the sequel proves to be better. And by the way, the guy is kind of suggesting that Regal and Cinemark might go under. No, I don't think they will. I think they'll be around. There will be, unfortunately, a lot of mom and pop theaters that do go under. Maybe the chains will buy them at rock bottom prices. I don't know. And then, of course, there's the other aspect that if AMC gets low enough, one of the studios, now that the Paramount decree has been struck down, might go forward and buy the theater. Like, I'm sure Disney would love to have the biggest movie theater chain in their pocket. And then they could definitely do that synergy thing where, okay, the movies can be both in theaters and Disney Plus at the same time if they so choose. Now, again, don't take this as advice, and maybe Rick is being a little overly optimistic. I mean, I do believe that they will survive. I believe they'll be saved somehow. If not through bankruptcy, then someone might merge or someone might buy them out. But I think AMC is way too valuable in the long run to just let die. But I do believe bankruptcy is inevitable, but bankruptcy will, for example, like I said, I've explained in this other video, if they raise more liquidity, maybe they can put off bankruptcy till the spring, and if they can put it off till the spring, then when they file for bankruptcy, they can show their business is improving. I think they will be okay in the long run. The question is, will they be a hot stock next year? I don't think they will be a hot stock next year. But here's the thing. If it goes down another $1 or so, I probably will buy more because I believe it will be a hot stock at some point. Now, again, this is not financial advice. Talk to your own bank or your own financial planner or do your own research. And I don't think I have enough viewers to influence the stock anyway, but I just want to make it clear, I am not recommending you buy the stock. I'm buying the stock, and again, I invested in MoviePass, so I might not be the best person to take stock advice from. Although some of my other investments have done good. So anyway, I do agree with Rick, though, that I think it's only a matter of time before these movies start going into theaters. And, a lot of studios are starting to even, realize, what, we got to do something for the theaters. So they're putting these smaller $10, $20 million films in theaters. The ones that, okay, if they don't make their money back, it's no skin off their back. Like The War with Grandpa, which was terrible, but we went to see it anyway because what else is there to see right now? I mean, that's going to make probably a little more than $10 million at the end of its run. But here's the thing. That movie was made 3 years ago, It was bought for pennies on the dollar from the Weinstein Company when they went bankrupt. And frankly, even a $10-15 million movie, box office or something like that, okay, that's a success for them. So there is still some money to be made from this. And once movies keep coming in like that, eventually things will be fine. Like I said, I'm kind of thinking that it's not going to be Wonder Woman that saves the box office, because I think Wonder Woman's going to get moved. But it's probably going to be Peter Rabbit. Peter Rabbit, because people do want to see Peter Rabbit, but Peter Rabbit only costs like $25 million, maybe $40 million to make, and they could probably safely say, okay, you know what? We're going to put out Peter Rabbit, and, if it only makes $30 million, okay, we're basically going to break even on this thing. We'll make a little bit more money on digital afterwards, and, and if Peter Rabbit opens at more than 10 million, that will be like the first sign that, okay, life is returning. But who knows what's going to happen? As always, I invite your conversations. You can comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.